Titi Wangsa Stadium in Kuala Lumpur. The most recent World Cup, ISTAF World Cup, Iran defeated Chinese Taipei in the final of Division 1. So it's a rematch of that one, and they meet in the group stages this time around. Iran will be the favourites, Chinese Taipei looking for revenge. Li, Ho and Deng are the starters, Tsai and Li on the bench.
With the calculated moves and unstoppable momentum, the Iranians definitely have a fighting spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Team Iran!
As we saw with United States of America, teams that play in Division 1, when they make the step up, well, they can certainly show that they belong. USA showing India that they can mix it with the best, and Iran will be hoping to do the same, hoping to get through to the quarterfinals. Mohammad Safai Majad, Rezai Sina and Jafari Merdad, their starters. Pedram and Shirali on the bench. Shirali also the coach, so he's likely to be a non-playing substitute.
And these are the match officials, the men and women in charge of this match. The chairman referee is Abdul Halim Kader. Official referee Surya Bahadur. Assistant referee Preeti Arora. The court referee will be Shamanda. Challenge referee Mohinder. Referee, they've got another referee in Ankit Kumar. Line referee number 1 G Shrikant, and line referee number 2 Kacha Zeno Kirha.
Yeah, so 7 of them out there, and then the chairman of the referees is the Secretary General of the International Sepaktakraw Federation. He'll only be called upon to adjudicate if there's a real kerfuffle, and we certainly hope that that won't happen. Much along the lines of a tournament referee in other sports. Interesting to see how these two teams have progressed since last they met just under a year ago in Kuala Lumpur. Chinese Taipei reasonably new to the ISTAF fold. Iran have been around ever since ISTAF Super Series competitions were introduced in 2011. They're also there at the first ever World Cup, also at the Titi Wangsa Stadium. The first and the fourth ones held in Kuala Lumpur, the Malaysian capital.
It'll be Iran who'll start, and their tekong is Sina Rezai. And that block earns Chinese Taipei their first point. Just having a look at the Iranian players, quite tall and well built. Oh wow, wonderfully done. It had to be retrieved way past the baseline, and it wasn't really close to the net, but Mehrdad Jafari getting that sunback spike into no man's land.
Very experienced player, Mehrdad Jafaripur. Has been involved for the past decade and a half.
2-1. Point Iran. 2-all.
There we go. A little bit of a flex there, showing off for the crowd, spinning the ball around.
Two, three.
Put his entire body behind that one, did Xing He Ding.
4-2.
Go the little routine. Beautiful close up there. Well, obviously he put a bit of spin on the ball. It was as if he was imparting spin before he then threw it. You don't want to be spinning it through the air for your tekong to try to follow. You need as neutral a ball toss as possible. But perhaps he was charging the ball up with revs.
Point to run.
Into the net this time. I just wanted to ask you, you keep referring to the previous meeting which was in the previous tournament, and there were two divisions. What was all that about? Can you explain that for our viewers? Because now it's just one division, and what was the reason they had two divisions? And it's probably better for the game that way.
It was to have better matched competition. There was also the fact that it was a men's only World Cup. It was just for men. There weren't any women's competitions that time around. So 2024 in KL, men's doubles and men's Regu were divided into two divisions. So you have the top tier and the second tier, just as Chinese Taipei take a timeout.
از همه فارسی زبان ها معذرت می‌خوام. فارسی زبان های ایران. and تاجیکستان. افغانستان. دریا خوب دور میشه. نه، اولی هر چیزی اون کوپا کجا دریا نمیدونم. دریا خوب
Okay.
Back from the timeouts, each team has one timeout per set. So yes, there were two divisions last time out, in the doubles and in the Regu. And the sport's constantly evolving. This time around we've got 12 men's teams playing, and that gives us enough for 4 groups of 3 teams. Each team plays a couple of matches in the group stages, and then 8 of them are already going to go through to the quarterfinals. So 8 of the 12 teams are guaranteed at least 3 matches, and then we'll have semi-finals and finals after that. So it's always good to have knockout matches rather than lots of round robins. It's nice to have the knockout, so this way with everyone together in the one division. Also there's the fact that a lot of teams here, we've got 7 different categories: men's and women's doubles, men's and women's quadrant, men's and women's Regu, and the mixed quadrant. And teams can't enter every event, so there are 3 men's, 3 women's in the mixed, and they can enter 2 events in the men's, 2 in the women's and the mixed. And so that means that a number of teams aren't in the Regu, and that enables us to have them all in the one division this time around.
On the net, and just trickles towards the Iranian side. Got the block in there, Mehrdad.
Well, it's very difficult. Yes, you can get a block in there. It's very difficult not to touch the net on your way up or the way down when you know that the ball's pretty much going to touch the tape. You can almost, the best thing to do is almost try to blow it over or waft it over as you go past.
5-10.
Quick fire stuff. We haven't had many long rallies, primarily due to the fact that if the Tekong, in this case Deng Shenghe, isn't really firing, then you're giving away points.
Well, he fired that one in, but didn't hit the tape that he wanted, hit the one below.
6-11. Ball out. Point to Iran.
It's a little bit more difficult being a Tekong in Regu now that it's alternating services as opposed to blocks of 3 in a row, and I think he's going to be taken out of the firing line here. He is indeed. Off goes Deng, and he's replaced by Li Qian.
12-6.
That was hit very well, and Li Qian tested immediately. Couldn't have done much about that one.
Come out by Iran.
He was on his right foot. He could have kept it up with his knee. Didn't manage to do it. Iran take their timeout, 2 points away from taking the first set.
kickoff ما فینال نمیریم.
All teams get ready. Time's up.
Iran are 2 points away from taking the first set. A bit of a talk for the Chinese Taipei players. It's set point now for Iran.
Goodbye, Chinese champion.
There seems to be another substitution. Those are members of the Iranian women's team. They won a bronze in the women's doubles event.
Set point. 6.
Off comes Ho, on comes Tsai.
Point to Chinese champion. 7. Set point.
An easy one for Iran, one would say. 15-7 in the first set against Chinese Taipei.
What is, get ready. What is on the baseline?
Iran going through the options here. 1-0 up. And this is a Group D encounter in the men's Regu event. The third team in this group is Italy.
Level play.
As the second set begins, it's going to be Lee Chi-an as the Tekong.
Point to challenge them here. Now, 1. No, back ball. Yes, back ball.
Excellent service. Fired there at the left foot, very difficult to pick up. And you can see when you're that close, obviously, you're twice as close as you would be as serving from behind the baseline, as is the case in doubles and quadrant, and you can really get some darts down there.
Chinese Taipei in the lead for the first time in this match.
1-2.
A slender one though.
Point to Iran. Two all. Point to Iran.
Nice shot of a sunback spike there, right foot over the right shoulder. He does that very well, does Merdad Jafari.
Ball out. Point to challenge them here.
That's been muscled past the baseline. Chinese Taipei still level.
Three all.
Right idea to put the block up in the middle. Sided there. You see he'll come across and anticipates that well. His back was just a little bit arched. Again, it's fine lines when you're that close to the net and you're not allowed to touch it. It's always difficult to know. You've got your back to the play, you're trying to block it, you don't know what's happened. Which side did it come up? Might have been touched. I think the net was touched there. And the players have told their manager that we need to have a challenge here. Saw in the replay beforehand that it looked very much like Tsai touched the net, I think, on the way up. But the video referee is going to have a look at that now. Call the managers in.
manager's finally called to the referee's desk.
Iran's women's players that we saw there, they'll be hopeful of a positive outcome for Iran. The point went against them, but my guess is it's going to be touch of the net. Indeed, there was a fault. So Tsai touched the net on the way up, so the point goes the way of Iran. It's going to be quite a swing in the context of the early going of this second set. Reached out a hand and grabbed the net.
The referees have come together again, a short discussion, hence the delay in the resumption of play.
A reminder, this is Group D in the men's Regu. Chinese Taipei, Iran, Poland the other team, but they have struggled to get the numbers required for the men's Regu. They're currently in action in the women's Regu. So these two teams, Chinese Taipei and Iran, will make it through to the semi-finals. It's just who finishes in the upper of the two seedings and gets the better draw in the quarterfinals that's at stake here.
Li Qian gets that onto the net, but seems to have a decent technique while trying to serve. Gets a lot of power behind that one.
Winners of Group D, so this is the group that we're in at the moment, will face second in Group A, which you would think will be Nepal. And if you come second in Group D, then you're likely up against Japan.
Merdad with a very good block as Iran take that point. As the Iranian management, featuring the team manager Saeed Zagane and the coach Payam Shirali.
So a good powerful service from Lee, and then one that went a bit long by Rezai. So that's 2 points in the favour of Chinese Taipei in the blink of an eye. What they needed. In danger of being left behind in the second set. Well, there we go. The service giveth, the service taketh away.
Actually, it was more like Chinese Taipei give it away, because he's been trying to get that across, but he's hitting the net, and that too not on top. Meanwhile, again, Iran conceding the point. Merdad has been a standout for Iran in this match, on the net with those blocks He's also someone who's executed quite a few sunback spikes when compared to some of the other male players who are predominantly proponents of the roll spike.
You tend to see more roll spikes in the men's game, but then you get to countries that aren't traditionally Sepaktakraw playing nations, and you get people learning skills later on as opposed to growing up with them. And you would start doing a sunback spike more naturally, and you can just, if you're right-footed, you just keep your left foot on the ground and flick it over your shoulder, and then you gradually jump a little bit more. Timeout called by Chinese Taipei.
Iran in the driver's seat, motoring along towards a victory against Chinese Taipei, an expected victory one may add. 15-7 in the first set. It's 10-7 in the second as we come to the conclusion of this timeout by Chinese Taipei. Li Qian did his best, but it was very difficult once the ball has gone that far out of the court's range.
Good service, aim for that tiny little bit of real estate in between two people. Split the defense.
That'll make them feel better, as that block effectively thwarts Iran's challenge.
Block always feels good because you've stolen a point. It's good to win a point. Feels times even better to steal one. And they're not down and out by any means. Regu seems to have lost his radar a little bit on service.
Li Qian now, what's the kind of serve he will be thinking about? Because already thrice or 4 times in this set, we've already seen him smashing it into the net. Well, he's got it across this time.
A lot of it depends on the ball toss. Much along the lines of tennis, when the ball toss is wrong, then the service itself is wrong, and you can't abort your service if you don't like the ball toss in Sepaktakraw. You just have to go through that, and you can try to change in mid-air. If it's not where you want it, that one was a little bit low, you would say. You wonder, well, you've got the cushion now for Iran, meaning that here Regu can carry on trying to play himself into a little bit of form from the Tekong circle, because they're 2 points away from victory. And when it works very well.
Iran have match point. It's been quite a cruise for them against Chinese Taipei. Not really challenged. And now here's an opportunity to conclude the game.
They want to do it in spectacular style. You could see them looking up at the rafters, and they're going to try to set up a huge set.
Ball out. Iran.
They don't need to, because Chinese Taipei have put it past the line, and Iran have won this match 15-7, 15-10 in what was a convincing performance. Wasn't the match that really thrilled you? There weren't many rallies, and Iran, one can say that they were clinical and have earned this 2-0 victory over Chinese Taipei.
Won by Iran 2-0. 14 seconds.
2-0 to them in Division 1 a year ago. 2-0 here in the group stages in the top division.
Well, our mascot was pointing to his ears. He was asking, why is it so quiet? Actually, in some time, it's going to get really loud in here. And we will tell you in some time why. It's because the neighbors are facing off. Nepal versus India in the women's Regu event.